so it's New Year and it is another cliche bullet journal video. I'm saying that in the sense that I know there'll be 1,000,001 people that will make one of these videos, people who are so much better at it than me. I follow a lovely lady over on YouTube called Miss Amy Rach. You should go and check her out. I will link something up here to her. And I have never actually talked about bullet journaling. If you're seeing the camera moving, my new kitten is pulling at my tripod. Thanks. Anyway, as I was saying, so I've never really spoke about my bullet journaling on YouTube before. I've done a little bit on my blog when I had a blog, but I've never really openly put a video up here about it. I watched hers and I thought, well, why have I never done that before? It's something people are really quite interested in. I'm quite interested in it and it's something I like to talk about. So this video is particularly looking at the previous bullet journals that I've done. I started halfway through 2016 and then went on in a couple of books. I don't have, you know, a whole year in a book. Some people actually struggle to fit a whole year in a book. People who are really strict bullet journalers sometimes feel they get to, you know, August and they need to move into another book. That's never happened to me. I have dropped in and out of bullet journaling in the last 2 years. If you've watched my New Year video, there's a bit more chat on what I've went through in the last couple of years. And because of that, it's something that I've came back to a few times. I'll go into great detail on why I do bullet journaling and what I enjoy about it. I'm going to talk you through these two here. This is my original one that I started in 2016 and quickly went and bought one of the Leuchtturm? I can't say this word. Everybody buys these ones. You know the one I'm on about. And 2017 and 18 are in this one. So this is going to be an overhead video and I will talk you through why I like bullet journaling and what I do it for and how I learned to make it work for me. If you think you're into that sort of thing and it might be something you would find useful, then please keep watching and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so as I said, I've been bullet journaling for a couple of years now. This one originally started in 2017 and then this one moved from 2017 and finished 2018 in it. Basically, I wasn't sure if it was going to be for me, so I didn't want to go straight into one of these Leuchtturm ones. Even now, I still use these, but there are other brands out there that nowadays, because bullet journaling became such a big thing, are maybe slightly better than these. But I'm going to stick to these this year and I'll see how I go throughout the year. But this was the initial one that I picked up, and basically picked up from Paper Chase. It's just a little kind of A5 notebook. It is actually a grid because they didn't have any dot format when I bought this. So this is actually a grid layout. The reason I picked this up was because I couldn't get dot layout and I thought, well, it's worth a try to try it this way. Okay, so I just brought you in a little bit closer there. So initially, I didn't put my name in, anything like that. I just thought I'd see how this would go. And I went straight in. The text in this book, the kind of layouts, the art, if you want to call it that. I am quite a creative person, but I do not claim to be any kind of illustrator, artist, anything like that. But everything is very rough. You can tell through going through both of these where I've improved on things that I liked and left things that I wasn't so keen on. So please don't judge. Initially, this was the very first key that I done. I just wrote this out myself. Again, just you can get any of these anywhere, but you know, cater it to you. Think what you really need it for. There's certain things that I've got rid of now that I just do not use. I also started a contents page because in the Leuchtturm ones you get a contents page, and I thought, well, yeah, that would be a good idea. You can look at the number, go to that page, and at this point I was actually just numbering the pages by myself because this didn't come with numbers. You can see how long that lasted. I left their space here for the index, but I clearly never used it. And this is my very first future planner. This was very much kind of in the style of the original bullet journal. I just sectioned it up into 6 pages, put down what was going on in those months and continued to follow through that. As you can see, this was started halfway through the year, so this started in July. I put in a savings page for rainy days, as you can see here. This here is quotes from the book How to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. A lot of these, to me, I think are really important. They really resonate with me. I really like them. I love this page, and although I've not carried it on to any of my other bullet journals, sometimes the thing I love about having my journal is I can go back and read that and think, God, I forgot how good that book was. I forgot how that made me feel. And some of these quotes, I just thought these are really good little mantras to read again and live by. So I do actually quite like this wee page here. This was my very first ever monthly spread, and again I done it kind of in the original style of the bullet journal with the dates and the numbers down the side here, but then tried to jazz it up a little bit, have monthly goals, and sectioned it up into work, personal events, and finance and budget. What I soon realised was that all of my finance and budget comes out on the first of the month. I know it's coming out. There's nothing really, like, I can look at my bank account. I do not need this to be here. I probably need to learn to budget more, but this is not any use to me, if I'm honest with you. Again, I used to track my work here with different coloured crosses and dots, and it would tell me if I was night shift or day shift, and the crosses were Alan's shifts and the dots were my shifts. Again, Alan works bog standard Monday to Friday kind of guy, so I don't need to track that. I know what his shifts will be. So you find you're documenting a lot of stuff at first, thinking, right, I need to do this, I need to do that. Before you know it, you think, right, this is totally pointless. So you start to fall away from these things. This was my very first kind of habit tracker. This again is one of the standard ones that I've seen going around. I put a little quote in it. This was a Dr. Zeus quote, and I would track it daily with all of these things on the side and put a little square every time I'd done one of these things. This isn't a bad layout. I've changed, as you'll see as we go through the diaries, from this now. I just find it's quite tedious to try and do every single square, unless you're going to just do crosses, keep it very neutral and black. If you're trying to do a different colour for every single thing, it can be really quite tedious. So I did start to find when I was writing all of these out, I wouldn't fill them out for the whole month. So again, that kind of got left to the wayside. Then I would do a weekly spread layout, so everything that I had to do on that day, and then a food and exercise by this side. And then I would do dailies. So I'm not going to get into this too much because this is more of a journal. But basically every day I would put at the top what I had to do, and then I would put a little journal log. Again, this is a weekly layout. The reason I never done dailies in this one is because we went to Cyprus. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail about this section, but one of the reasons, since being a child, I love keeping a diary or a journal or a scrapbook is I love to be able to look back on things and see where I've been and how I liked them, and memories of things that I've done. So this for me is one of the main reasons that I really, really love my bullet journals. Big stupid photo here, big kind of what we'd done that day, places that we'd been. So for me, this is the main reason that I really love doing bullet journaling. Again, a weekly spread, more journaling. I think this was more photos from that holiday, they just arrived a bit later. So as you can see, there's pretty much a theme going on here, like a daily kind of journal. It was certainly much more that for me when I started. That was September. Again, kind of laid out very much the same, and you can see here, like, I didn't have anything other than the first and maybe the last of the month to come out, so it was totally pointless. Because it started halfway through the month this month, I didn't really have a weekly spread to put in, so that was a little bit space irrelevant. You can see as well my hand lettering I'm still not very good at, and at the time was even worse at. It's just something that I'm not particularly confident in and I still really struggle with. Again, you can see here the habit tracker stopped halfway through the month, so it wasn't really working for me. Again, more journaling. This is the main reason why I was doing it. I've got more kind of scrapbooking. I put in a little meal plan here, some challenges I had with some things I had on Instagram. But you get the gist of why I was keeping a bullet journal. I also tried to do a 1 year no buy, and then unfortunately I started this in the October, November, December, and in the February my dad died, so it kind of became very much a lesser priority for me to, and actually if anything, going out and having a shop throughout the years following that was a bit of light relief. So it was just something that totally fell by the wayside. But I did manage 4 months not buying any clothes. So this is basically how this journal went. I also, there we go, so like that was me then planning out, well, how was that working for me? It wasn't working for me, blah blah blah. And at that point I decided I was going to buy one of these and do it really properly, because the grid layout was kind of annoying me. So now moving into my actual Leuchtturm, I can't say it properly. This one comes with a strap attached, as you probably all know. It also comes with a pocket in the back where you can store things. I actually have a few stickers and stuff from doing the Erin Condren planning. I did use stickers sometimes in my bullet journal, but it just seems to be something that I don't like anymore. So some of the Leuchtturms start, and it is the official bullet journal notebooks. So they have a place for a key. This one did not have that. So I wrote my key in the first page and documented it in the index. There is a name bit on the front here, but I'm not going to show it because I do have my address on it. Basically, here I started to document pages. Again, this totally fell by the wayside very quickly. I don't feel the need for it, and unfortunately most of these notebooks do come with these pages. I just don't feel I need them. So that kind of fell away. That was my key for this one. As you can see, even here is a little bit shorter than the initial one that I'd done. And that was my future planner. So still laid out very much so in the 6 monthly gridding, but I put a little calendar at the side of each one now. It really helped me to track my shift work. So night shifts was dark blue, light blue was day shifts, which really helped. And if it was purple, that was my annual leave. Again, birthdays, things like that all went into here. I still find this a very useful tool to have, and even in my most recent one I've put that in. That was my very first January spread. This was the year of my 30th birthday. Goals here, and you can see my spreads changed slightly. So I much preferred the calendar layout .grid. I like to see, you know, oh well, that date is on a Monday, Wednesday. I like the weekly spread calendar layout. So you will find this is generally what I will use now, although it has changed slightly through the time. I did continue to do this style of habit tracker. It did work for me here. You can see I really tried to stick to it, but again, I found as I went through this one, it fell by the wayside. That's some ukulele chords because I was learning ukulele that year. Now, this is my first weekly spread in here, and I found it worked much better in a functional manner. Less journaling, but more what do I need to get done on this day, and what do I want to document, what do I want to track. So that was like breakfast, lunch, dinner, the tasks that I had to do, any shopping that I wanted to pick up, be it food shopping or clothing or skincare, beauty, anything like that. I put a little exercise log in. And here I had a graph plan of my blood sugars as well, which I really kind of enjoyed doing, but it did help, but equally it was quite difficult. I wish there was a simpler format I could put this in to be able to use it on a weekly or a daily basis. It was quite messy when you start looking and thinking, oh, why did that happen, or why did this happen? And also my pump I can upload onto my computer and look at graphs on that very easily. So although this was really good and made me try and stick to my goals and keeping my diabetes really tight, it didn't work in the long term. But I did like this idea. I wish there was some way I could make it work. Again, very much the same. This was a surprise trip that I had, so that was my packing list and how I ticked it off. I made a bigger blood glucose, look at this, bigger blood glucose chart here, and that was me trying to document it in a different way. Again, it didn't quite work. Here is my birthday week, as you can see. We had a trip to Warsaw as well, and this is my weekly spreads as I was continuing them, but when I decided to go on trips, I still journaled like this, and actually started putting in little Polaroids of friends and stuff from my birthday, and the trip. I think that's one of Alan, a little bit drunk. And then back to weekly spread. So this is much more productive for me, but I love this I love this idea of using my bullet journal as a diary as well, a proper journal. Again, this is some documentation of our trip and where we went, some more. It's a blank page. Now this, unfortunately, was my spread for February, and as I said, my dad actually passed away this particular month. So there is a note there about my dad, and it was a particularly difficult time for me to cope with. And weirdly, my bullet journal was something that kept me on track. It was something that I thought if I could focus my energy into just doing a plan, doing a spread, I wasn't thinking about it. So although it seems a little bit, I don't want to seem cold, but I continued to do this, it was the one stable in my life that kept me going. So actually that in itself as well is the reason why I really love this, and I've tried to do it through any kind of heartbreak or sorrow. So this was, again, a habit planner that does not have one dot in it, but as I say, something happened that month that just totally wiped me out. This was a slightly different spread that I tried. I thought I would try and do tasks, meals, activity, thought of the day, and my blood sugars, but I don't know, like I did like it, but I didn't really stick to it. As you can see here, if it goes straight to March, this month was a wipeout. So March, very much the same. I like doing a little bit more decorative, but a little bit more understated. Habit trackers. This was when I was planting vegetables, and that was my dates and things and what I had to do and how to do it. It was actually quite successful. Again, little collections like this and things to put down is something I can go back to and think, well, how did I plant a courgette, and how did I plant a tomato, and how did it go? So that was quite good. I continued with this layout for a while. It was okay. I don't know, it just wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I then ended up going back to the kind of more original one, and I took out the blood sugar tracker and made it more of a remember box. As you can see here, this just continues. This was ideas because I started a blog as well after my dad died, just to write things. This has since also fizzled out. You get a theme here that I sometimes don't stick with things. But this was all ideas that now has then transferred into more kind of YouTube-y stuff. Again, tried the blood sugar thing, wasn't working. As you can see here, this is pretty consistent. This is what kept this was my weekly spreads, and this is how I carried them out. Here, kind of some ideas of how I was going to decorate this back room actually, and little kind of drawings of it. And I think that's another trip packing list. Since then, I've ended up doing like a master packing list, like one for colder weather, one for a city break, and then one for like a warm trip, weekends away things. So I've done like a master list now that I just refer to rather than continually go back and do a new one. So this is probably a good kind of halfway through the book, and I done a little page to say, like, you know, 2017 is finished, and I was very much wanting to get rid of that year and look forward to the next one. So I done a year at a glance page as well, which I'd started seeing a lot more of. Started to try more hand lettering, which is getting a little bit better. Then done another future planner. I'd done this exactly the same. I really like this way this looks, and I've still continued to do it. I also put this page in. I seen Amanda Rach Lee do this, and it was a year in Polaroids. I really like this. I wish I'd managed to fill all the months. I didn't keep up with it all the time, but besides that point, I thought it was a really, really good idea, and I really, really enjoyed it. I again tried to do no purchase clothing. Although these aren't marked in, I did manage about 4 months again, and then that was it. So you can tell this isn't really working for me. I then started doing like front pages on my months. Consistently still going with this style of habit tracker, despite it not always working for me. I put in a finances and budget thing. It got to a point where I was like, why am I adding up and feeling bad for all the crap that I am buying? Like, what's the point? I can look at my bank statement and think, yeah, you spent too much that month. This to me is pretty irrelevant, and I don't use it. This was a different weekly spread. The reason I started doing different weekly spreads in this year is because I wanted to try new things, but also I'd looked at lots more stuff online on YouTube and thought, I want to see if I can make it look more artistic. I want it to look nicer. Again, tried a slightly different one that way. every week. But the long and short of it was, it wasn't working for me productively. It wasn't pleasing on my eye. Even when I'd done it, I thought, no, this isn't tidy, this isn't what I want. So I very quickly moved away from this again. That was me just practicing hand lettering. I then went on to this style, which was a little bit better, and I kind of liked the variation of a bit more structure, but equally a little bit more fluidity in the lettering and things. And I'd done this for a little while too. This is February's layout. I loved this February page. I thought it was great. I took much more time on my monthlies actually, and I thought this was a wonderful little layout. This was little workout routines that I still to this day would refer back to and carry out. As you see here, I was still doing that. And that was the weekly layouts as I'd done before, for February with little love hearts. I carried that on for quite a while. I don't know why there's a blank page there. This is March. Again, this is one that was very much taken inspiration from Amanda Rach Lee. She's well known on YouTube, and she'd done like little cactuses and stuff in March, and I loved this spread as well. I thought it was great. You know, I was starting to feel like really more in control of my life and feeling really good about things. And this month we actually had our flat broken into, all of our belongings stolen and robbed. And that, again, you will see now that I just took a total step back and struggled then to continue doing my bullet journal. We did go on a trip soon after that because it was already booked, and again done some scrapbooking. April, as you see, so it's very much coming into, you can see the style I'm enjoying, you can see the layout I'm enjoying. This calendar layout, a little bit more theme to it. I did continue these little spreads. May, this is where I changed my habit tracker. I thought if I'd done them individually this way with a little picture, that would help. It didn't. So that didn't work either. And as you can see there, there's absolutely nothing wrote in the expenses page. And this was when I just thought, no, this is nonsense. I'm not doing it anymore. It's more layouts like that. And then quickly kind of started thinking, oh, I really like having my activity tracker. I missed that. This was where I was doing it in these spreads, and I just thought I like a bit more structure. I like boxes, I like layouts, so I reverted back to this. June, this was like a holiday one. Again, you can see it's got a theme. Tried this habit tracker again, tried this again. I'm like, it's just not working. That's the thing, like it doesn't have to work. You can change it up. If you're not enjoying it, try something else. So basically, without going on and on, there's more scrapbooking, more kind of trips we've been on. You can see in a roundabout way what I was getting towards. From there, that's pretty much, I think I've got July and August, and my book was very thin and fizzling out, and I decided that I should move into a new one, and now I'm going to move into my new book. Okay, so that video ended a little bit abruptly, but reason being I went straight on to talk about my new 2019 bullet journal, and I have another video going through how I've laid that out and the January layout plan with me of that. I will put a link to the end of this video in one of the little sidebars, and you will be able to link directly to it following on from my flip through of the last couple of years to my new 2019 layout and plan with me for January. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you fancy watching anything else again, please like, please subscribe, follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I just can't get into it, I don't know what it is. Anyway, thanks again, see you later, bye. Cat, can you get out of the bag? Come here, come and show your face. Oh, she's too feisty. Okay, so I don't know if this will be an introduction. She might already be in the New Year video, but this is Pebbles. Oh, you could just eat her, couldn't you? Look at her, she's beautiful. She's a little toothy. This is Pebbles. Look, say hello. Oh. So this is the thing that's making all the noise and moving my tripod about and climbing in and out of bags and things. She quite likes seeing herself on the camera and she quite likes the light, so she's been quite good here. She went to the vet today for the first time. Right, down you go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.